And it's Ken Kreitzer for CBSI Talking Business. We're in New York City today, just wrapping up the Fintech Connect North America conference. Have a chance to talk with the host of a terrific all-day event, and that is Joti Balani. And Joti, just a terrific event. How do you feel it came off? You had so many great speakers and so many important topics.
I think it was fantastic, and especially given the rain and the travel, they had folks show up as in pretty good numbers. I think we covered the past, the present, and future of the fintech space. We had large banks speaking. We had fintech companies, some known as challengers, and I think we walked through what the payments industry, what AI is doing, a lot of the capital markets. I think it was a phenomenal day, and I think Fintech North America had their first. This is their first in-person event, and I think it was a phenomenal set of folks out here. Really, very well done.
Well, generative AI, we've seen it come up in every session. Everyone voiced their thoughts on it. And I would say the consensus was try it, see what you can use, but be very careful, be very cautious, especially as the banking industry is regulated.
Yeah, for sure. If you think about enterprise grade and needs for frameworks around regulatory, legal, and security, of course, you got to be very careful in analyzing generative AI. There's absolutely a use for it, but it's very early days. And what we're advising our clients in our consultancy is to make sure that the problem is well understood. And then the first folks to talk to are the regulatory, security, and legal folks. So, but a lot of exciting times ahead. I think AI is finally come out of its winter.
Very good. And Juan, Miguel, Guerra from Revolut, Mexico, had a couple of great points. One of which was privacy is a selling point. And then he also talked extensively about super apps that can do a whole lot more than one or two functions for a customer, could do 50.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I think Revolut is taking a very different tact with the market. The new generation that's coming up, Gen Z and millennials, are going to be the biggest demographic in 2025. I think they don't have an appetite for having to go through multiple apps. And I think that is what's driving Revolut's strategy, which I think is very, very smart.
And yeah, terrific speaker from your host, from your sponsor, JPMorgan, Max Neukirchen. And he talked a lot about customers want speed and convenience, not carrying a wallet. And but the most important thing is get payment from point A to point B.
Yeah, I think that was this incredible vision. I liken it to the easy pass lane versus the cash lane on toll booths. Is how do you remove friction completely? Because people don't want to spend time trying to get their money or send money. They just want it done because they are actually doing it for other purposes. For example, sending their kids to college or getting their 401k growing. So I think that's really where I think Max is focused on, especially for the small business arena, which make up 99% of the backbone of our economy.
And Jennifer Warren from Barclays had a lot of good points. She was on two panels. And one of her points was avoid fads and kind of looking at generative AI and find tech that is actionable and provides results.
Yeah, I think culture and mindset matter, and I think Jennifer really hit the nail on the head in thinking about the fact that you do have to experiment. The fail fast was a theme all throughout, but I think it's doing it responsibly and making sure, because it's a very regulated industry, you got to have to straddle the line between going complete wild west, but not being too slow.
And I really liked the afternoon presentation from Amy Iceman-Hauter, who is with Michigan State University Federal Credit Union, and talked about the promos that they did on the app during their football games, generating activity and transaction. That was very innovative.
It sure was, and Amy has her dream job where they are really supported by their leadership to go experiment on a whole host of things, and so they did. They actually ran a gamification, and they had a pretty good. I think it was like 5 or 10% adoption rate, with some really going deep into the gamification. So it's a great way to try and see what your audience likes. I think that's a great way that they are trying to innovate.
Very good. And from Mexico, you had Emily Weinitz, who is, her bank has 80 million customers. And she talked a little bit about the importance of being on the right social media channels that the customers and prospects are watching. We're hearing that advice being given to bankers that maybe are a little bit older than the target customer.
Yeah, so I think it's New Bank Mexico, Angelique. Yeah, she was talking about the fact that 80 million customers, and they're innovating very quickly. They are a fintech. They're focused on this age group in Latin America, which the average age is about 21. Completely different focus. They are growing quickly. They're focused on scale, and they're looking at ways where they don't have to, from a social media channel. We talked about WhatsApp, which is a popular channel, but they don't believe it's fully secure because there are a lot of spoofing issues. So they're being very careful in which channels that they are providing the service, which is a very smart thing to do. You don't want to jeopardize your security as you provide these innovative services.
And you had a great wrap-up from Beth Johnson and Michael Rutledge from Citizens Bank, and they talked about what their initiatives, and they're moving into the New York City area. They bought the HSBC branches and their success in home equity. They had a lot of good points.
They did. The one that took, I think, the win was their CSAT score, the customer satisfaction score of 88, or NPS score, Net Promoter Score. Of 88 is as equivalent to Apple products, which I think is phenomenal. I think they are a bank to watch. I think the partnership between Beth, who is a CXO, and Michael, who's a CIO, really talks about the culture and mindset of how they innovate. They went around New York City, actually interviewing folks, and really try to understand, how New Yorkers want to bank. So I think it's a very, very smart strategy.
Well, Joti, just a terrific job on this. Now, you've got a consulting company in the AI field. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we are a 5-year-old consulting company. We do strategy and delivery work in the conversational AI and data science space for Fortune 500 clients. We actually cut our teeth with early adopters of conversational AI much before ChatGPT came out, and so we provide enterprise-grade conversational AI services. We are tech agnostic, which means is that we focus on our customers' outcome, but bring them the best of breed technologies around conversational AI and automation, as well as data science. So yeah, it's an exciting time for us. We're growing pretty quickly. People are calling us the next evolution of McKinsey that delivers. So it's an exciting time.
That's great. Final thought, you've got an event coming up in London in December, the 6th and 7th. What are some of the other events on your schedule?
There is a voice and AI event in Washington, D.C. in December as well. A company called Motive runs it. Pete Erickson's the founder. He's actually the original ecosystem builder for mobile development. And he's taken the voice AI area by storm. It's one of the best conferences globally. We were actually with him at CES in January, where he ran an amazing panel and an event for voice AI. So keep an eye on that, given especially with generative AI and automation coming out. It's going to be a conference to remember, I think.
Well, Joti, thank you so much for inviting us. Great conference. You have a lot to be proud of. A lot of work goes into these things, so look forward to seeing you in the future.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. This is Ken Kreitzer for CBSI and CBSI Talking Business in New York.